Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to Comme d'Archi Podcast Season 7.
Saison 7, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Deponte, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci.
Thank you
D'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
to be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
Hello, Aminata Sy.
Hello.
Are you the director of the trade show?
Absolutely.
To start off, how does someone become the director of a trade show of this scale?
You grow into the role naturally within this show. I started 19 years ago as a sales rep and ended up as a show director. So I started when I was 29 or 30 years old, and I wasn't at all in real estate industry. I was ad manager at Lagardère, so it really wasn't related to that. It's true that at first I only did SIMI. It's still a media outlet. It's so there's still continuity between being an ad manager and marketing medium, which in this case is the trade show medium.
This year, SIMI is stepping up a level by moving to Porte de Versailles after years at the Palais des Congrès at Porte Maillot, where the event had reached capacity. What was the deeper motivation behind this transition? And what new opportunities does it open up?
I think we identified several trends in how things were evolving. To strengthen the business side, we'd been at a trade show for 23 years on level 1, level 2, level 3, where moving around comfortably wasn't exactly easy, especially when it came to welcoming new players. It wasn't exactly easy either. So now we're all on the same level. We have sector-specific villages like the France Data Center Village, the Smart Building Alliance Village. And on top of that, we're boosting the networking side with a co-working space, with offices that let participants take part in a way that's different from a traditional trade show with a booth. We have players like Novaxia who have a space in the networking area, and that's something we want to strengthen as well, since this is a business trade show. The real goal is for this show to become, over 3 days, the office for the entire French real estate industry ecosystem. Since we've got all the major cities represented, we've got the whole country covered, we still have that opportunity. It's really about making sure it becomes the office.
This transformation is happening in the midst of a deep real estate crisis. How does a trade show as pivotal as SIMI handle such a delicate time? What adjustments and innovations have you had to implement to help guide a sector going through turbulence?
Absolutely. In fact, we're in a very demanding environment for this particular ecosystem. And since it's such a demanding environment, we also have to adapt. We were talking about change, about improvement, and about sector-specific villages. We also keep an eye on the interest of the various investors. At the France Data Center Village, Thursday is our dedicated AI Innovation Day, featuring a brand new award, Innovation Award. Topics focused on this new asset class. We're strengthening the business side with networking spaces at the trade show, and we're also providing support while we're offering our clients different types of participation, like I was saying, networking spaces. They are not necessarily booths. You might have a space for just one day, for example.
In your opinion, what are the main drivers in real estate engineering today for fundamentally rethinking existing models and responding to the current economic climate?
Well, for me, naturally, I'm going to talk about AI, this innovation. It's something we've been talking about for a while now, but that has really, really taken off, or maybe even been overhyped along with other things. A topic that scares a lot of people, between losing square footage, losing certain jobs, but also creating opportunities, which creates opportunities for innovation and solutions. Actually, for anything related to engineering or construction, things are speeding up. Things are moving faster, and there's also greater accuracy. Some AIs can deliver that. A random Excel spreadsheet just can't. So that's what I'm talking about. Accuracy, fewer errors, and speed, leading to greater productivity, much more optimal.
What distinction do you make between the chemical sector and events specifically focused on low-carbon topics? What unique contribution do SIMI make to this ecosystem of professional events?
We've been at it for 23 years. Our strength lies in having a presence throughout France, in every major city, and it's a topic we address in plenary sessions, especially at events. We do this with François Gémen. He's one of the IPCC rapporteurs, and in October he launched the Building Decarbonization Alliance. We also have a decarbonization agora sponsored by BNP Paribas, plus expert panel that is in the conference room. There will be hour-long sessions sponsored by Bouygues Immobilier. So it's a topic we'll cover throughout the trade show with the full presence of the entire ecosystem. That is to say, according to SIMI and the chemical industry crowd, it's a topic investors will also be addressing, talking about AI and decarbonization. We can also use AI to develop decarbonization solutions. It's not just about global warming, it's actually a cross-cutting issue. We face a societal challenge, decarbonization. So you started from the societal challenge, right? I'd say it's really about taking on that challenge, because it's an issue for the real estate industry from every angle. That's what makes it interesting. This kind of topic is only really engaging when there are contradictions or other people who challenge it, because that's how we move forward. So when you bring together François Gémen, an IPCC rapporteur, with traditional players in construction, that's when you get interesting. There you go. And then the idea is really to advance the cause. It's not about punitive environmentalism, it's about finding solutions together.
Project managers and architects play a central role in transforming the built environment. How do you see their role within the trade show? Why is it important for you and for SIMI to more broadly welcome the architecture profession? What role do you want them to have in the years ahead?
For example, the Patriarchy Agency, which has been here for a very long time. We have the SIMI Grand Prix. And during the SIMI Grand Prix, the advantage is really that this project management work also gets recognition. So on stage, we'll have the entire team responsible for creating these buildings. And anyway, it's clearly an essential element in shaping the city.
Architects, by the way, come to visit quite often. So I wanted to ask you a question. The profession is still very male-dominated. Well, first off, congratulations to you for being a woman leading a trade show like SIMI. Do you feel any resistance or not?
I came on board in 2006. Let me tell you, as a black woman, all I saw were white men. No, absolutely. But what I mean is only white. Men wearing cuff-linked dress shoes. And it's changed a lot in 19 years, you know. I mean, now we see women and young people in jeans. So, yes, things are changing, and that's great because, well, it means it's about skills. People who manage to find solutions and work together, and beyond that, it's also, I mean, it's an entire society that needs to be educated. And then all these Genevieve saying, well, it's possible to work in real estate. So these are things that come little by little. It doesn't happen overnight, but to me, it has really evolved. There's real energy here. You can hear it, right? Anyway, thank you very much. Goodbye.
You just heard Aminata Sy, the director of SIMI, while keeping the energy of the expo going, staying as close as possible to the projects. Now, let's turn to an architect one who really matters in the French scene, Alexandre Belle. He is a partner at the De Portes-en-Parc agency, founded by Elisabeth and Christian de Portes-en-Parc. Christian de Portes-en-Parc, Pritzker Prize 1994, a global reference. Today, the agency is moving forward with a new generation 3 new partners: Alexandre Belle, Thierry Damet-Fontaine, and Rex Bombardelli. A bigger team, a perspective that's evolving, becoming more refined, and rooted in today's priorities, the users, the communities, and the transitions underway. At the heart of this momentum, one project stands out: the Alpha Hub in Sofia Antipolis, right on the forest's edge. A building for startups, researchers, and students, a place to work, meet, and experiment, with a panoramic restaurant, an auditorium, spaces dedicated to artificial intelligence, and bioclimatic architecture. Designed in partnership with GCC, doubles the potential. Bricks, cool oasis, geothermal energy, basically. A project where ecology isn't just a slogan, it's a working method. That's everything we're going to explore with him. And, most importantly, to understand how architecture will once again give shape, meaning, and coherence to the place of tomorrow. Hello, Alexandre, and a big thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here with you.
Thank you. So let's talk about the Alpha Hub, which is shaping up to be a key part of the revival of Sofia Antipolis. How did you work at the Portes-en-Parc agency to give this project a strong identity, one that could support this transformation while respecting the spirit of the site?
The agency's approach is mainly to always start from the site itself and the location, because for us that's extremely important. We create projects that are rooted in their context. So when we came here, our first impression was of this site perched on a hillside between the sea and the mountains, and as you mentioned, right on the forest edge, in the heart of nature. So what is the spirit of Sofia Antipolis? It's the youthful spirit behind the creation of this technology park. It's about being like islands, surrounded by a certain natural environment. It felt natural and important to us to honor that spirit by creating permeability with a fissure running through the building that connects the public space to the indoor agora we built. We did this to draw people into the forest and open the space toward those areas. We also followed the ridgeline with a building that rises in a crescendo. creating large terraces that are both used and usable. These terraces follow the slope and they let us take in the landscape. The fifth facade was a real challenge in this project because the Sofia Antipolis University overlooks the site like a belvedere. So we had to make ourselves visible. That's why we took a bold gamble. We decided not to have any technical terrace on the building, only a terrace meant for use for contemplation, for meeting people, or simply for enjoyment.
Well, the building will host a very diverse ecosystem: startups, deep tech companies, researchers, students, institutions. How did you design the circulation and the shared spaces to encourage encounters and a mix of different users?
Well, in our work as architects, everyday life is all about meeting people, and we're convinced that's what sparks intelligence. So intuitively, we try to recreate that in the buildings we design. And here in Sofia, we had to find a way to combine the need for confidentiality and protection that researchers require, but still making sure to include spaces for meeting, which naturally come about to spark intelligence. So we decided to take that approach. Instead of having enclosed cores with staircases where nobody sees each other or says hello, we decided to create large walkways that serve the entire building. These walkways are like balconies where people can meet up. We also set up terraces, like I mentioned earlier, where people can spontaneously meet up, either to keep working together on a topic in a different atmosphere, or simply arrange to have lunch together to move forward.
In the end, these facade features are appearing more and more in workplaces and in commercial buildings. I imagine you bring perhaps even more added value than what we're seeing now. Usually, what would set you apart when it comes to these kinds of systems?
When it comes to the facade system in particular, it was a project within the project. In fact, this mashrabia, because we made it an iconic feature, giving the building its identity, but not only that, it also serves as passive protection for the walkways, making them pleasant to use, especially in summer. Since the walkways look out over the landscape and toward the sea, they're oriented to the south. They also help protect some of the indoor office spaces. So on those facades, we actually did a whole parametric design process to turn constraints into strengths. In short, if I can sum it up, it's about making constraints work in our favor. How do you protect enough without compromising the need for natural light in the workspaces? And also meet the fire safety requirements we all know with chimney effects that can occur, plus major seismic risk. So we actually created an ATAX for this project, but we integrated it right from the early stages of the project, so it wouldn't have any impact, whether financial or in terms of timing, for the good of the operation.
Perfect. Your bioclimatic approach is particularly advanced. Double brick walls, mashrabia screens, geothermal energy, photovoltaic panels. How would you like these design choices to be perceived and shared, especially with the public partners present at the cemetery?
So, environmental initiatives have always been at the heart of the project. So, of course, we've brought in all our expertise along with every international and national certification that's now standard. But we also wanted to take a regional approach, meaning we register the building under the Mediterranean Sustainable Building Program so that it's fully connected to its surrounding and, more importantly, able to adapt to future changes to the specific area where it's located. So for that, we used all the resources we had available, meaning things like geothermal energy, as you mentioned, or solar photovoltaics, since we are, after all, in a region with abundant sunshine. But We also wanted to bring in more practical elements like passive solar shading, the very shape of the building. And we also believe that a sustainable building is one that stands the test of time and can be adapted. So by choosing not to put any structural cores in the floors, we were able to create large, completely open floor plates. These open floors can evolve over time to suit different uses and adapt to future changes. This is so the building never becomes outdated or obsolete.
And you're going to present all of that. Finally, you'll be presenting all of this on the second day of the trade show at 11 May, I think, at the Sophia Antipolis booth.
Yes, there will be some big announcements. There will be big announcements with our project owner and the entire team. Since, like all projects, it's a team effort, it's a shared human adventure. So it's a project we carried out under a comprehensive performance contract, which is also important when working with the builders and the project owner.
So Sophia Antipolis is at a pivotal moment with many key institutional figures present at the trade show. What role do you see your voice as an architect playing in raising the profile of the Technopole?
Well, if you don't mind, I really like using a musical metaphor for things like this. I think an architect is an author, a composer, and also a conductor who has to take the lead. All the different sensibilities, all the change he has to anticipate. There's an intuitive side to all of this as well. He has to orchestrate it all. His added value lies in the fact that he has the overall vision. He works with technicians who are sometimes each in their own lane, and he has to bring it all together to create something that works and that users can truly make their own. And it shouldn't be like that. You don't want there to be an instruction manual. It's got to feel natural. That's the hardest part, right? But we try to focus on that so that places thrive, feel right, and people actually enjoy going there. So it becomes a destination in itself.
You sometimes hear in certain very activist circles that architecture is no longer the art of building, but the art of caring. Has the very act of building become suspect? That's something one might think. When you hear that kind of statement, how do you respond to positions that are still quite extreme? And how do you defend an ecological approach that stays solid, concrete, and truly meets the real needs of the regions?
Well, first of all, I think the two, the art of building and the art of caring, are not mutually exclusive. Of course, they work together. Of course, building well, building better, since that's what we're talking about here, also means taking care of your city, of how we create community, and how we can all live better together. So for that, I think it's very important. I also think we're going through a kind of transformation where we want all the players want to break free from the tyranny. Basically, it's about adopting constructive principles to better align with the constructive approach and methods. If we can bring in pioneering projects in those areas to open up new paths, I think we're on the right track.
So, with those parameters taken into account,
Exactly. Well, the technology serves the building, not the other way around.
any final words?
Well, for us, it was a great source of pride to work on this project. For us, it was our first time working in a global performance market where we managed the impressive feat of delivering the project in just 3.5 years, from the very first sketch to its grand opening, working with major players like GCC, Europe TA, who are also our partner. Colleague Gregory Mazzarezze, who knew the place well and helped us, someone we relied on and worked closely with. A project owner who consistently made the right decisions to keep the project's momentum going. And what was really interesting is that we immediately factored in how the building would operate. Once we handed over the keys, and that's something we always struggle with, getting the architect to work in consultation with everyone, to anticipate all that and make sure the building actually works. It's going to live its own life, and we know it'll live it well. It was really satisfying for us.
Of course. Well, in any case, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your insights on this project.
Thank you. And Charlotte, see you very soon. I hope to see you again. Well then, Sophia Antipolis, here to explore the building with me.
This is one of the projects that's really going to matter.
Thank you very much. With great pleasure.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in to our previous content on Instagram at Comme d'Archi Podcast. If you like it, make sure to promote the podcast by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and adding a comment, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.